thousands of boots on the ground, warships slicing through contested waters, some of the world's most advanced weapons locking onto targets. On the surface, it looks like just another military exercise in the South China Sea. From April 21st to May 9, 2025, the 40th Balikatan exercise took place, involving over 17,000 troops. But this wasn't just practice. This was a carefully orchestrated power play in one of the most volatile regions on Earth. And the real reason it happened goes far beyond the headlines. This is the story of how overwhelming military might and strategic soft power are combining to draw a new line in the sand. So, why here? Why the South China Sea? Well, it's more than just a body of water. It's a global economic superhighway and a geopolitical flashpoint. A third of all global shipping sails through these waters. Beneath the waves? Vast, untapped reserves of oil and natural gas. For decades, it's been a mess of overlapping territorial claims, with China's expansive and internationally rejected 9-line putting it at odds with nearly all of its neighbors, especially the Philippines. For years, the world has watched as Chinese Coast Guard and maritime militia vessels have used what experts call gray zone tactics, moves that are aggressive and coercive, but fall just shy of an act of war. We've seen them repeatedly block, ram, and blast Philippine vessels with high-pressure water cannons inside the Philippines' own exclusive economic zone. These aren't random skirmishes. They're part of a relentless campaign to assert control and push everyone else out. This is where the United States and the Philippines fall back on a promise made decades ago, the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty. This treaty is the bedrock of their alliance, stating that each country will defend the other if attacked. After a rocky period in their relationship under a previous administration, the Philippines has swung decisively back toward its traditional alliance with the U.S. This renewed partnership isn't just talk. It's a strategic realignment with real-world consequences, turning the annual Balikatan exercise from a routine training event into a powerful statement. What started in 1991 as a small-scale meetup has morphed into a full-spectrum military drill designed to send a crystal-clear message of unity in the face of rising aggression. The question is no longer if the alliance will respond, but how. The sheer scale of Balikatan 2025 was immense. Roughly 9,000 U.S. troops and 5,000 from the armed forces of the Philippines were joined by forces from other nations, bringing the total to at least 17,000. It wasn't just a two-nation affair either. For the first time, Japan joined as a direct participant alongside the Australian Defence Force. And watching from the sidelines were nearly 20 other nations, from the UK and France to India and South Korea. This has shifted from a bilateral team-up to a multilateral show of force. The official theme was shoulder to shoulder, or Balikatan in Tagalog. But the unofficial theme was obvious: deterrence. This year's drills introduced what was called a full battle test, mixing real-world intelligence into complex, multi-domain war scenarios. The exercises stretched across the Philippine archipelago, from the islands of Palawan facing the South China Sea to the northern regions of Luzon. And the gear they brought out? That sent a message all on its own. The U.S. deployed some of its most advanced mobile weapon systems. For the first time, the Navy Marine Expeditionary Ship Interdiction System, or NMESIS, was deployed to the Philippines. This is a remote-controlled ship-killer missile launcher, designed to be highly mobile and lethal against naval targets from over 185 kilometers away. The system was airlifted to the northern Batanes Islands, a strategic choke point in the Luzon Strait, where it conducted simulated targeting drills. While no missiles were actually fired, its deployment demonstrated a new, agile strategy, scattering smaller, powerful units across key islands to deny an enemy freedom of movement at sea. Alongside intricacies were HIMARS rocket systems and, for the first time, integrated air and missile defense drills. But Balikatan 2025 wasn't all about firepower. In fact, one of its most critical missions happened far from any live fire range. This is the other half of the power play, winning hearts and minds. While combat troops trained for war, military civil affairs teams were on a different kind of mission. Across several provinces, service members from the Philippines, US, Japan, and Australia ran extensive humanitarian assistance programs. They built new schoolhouses and renovated classrooms. They constructed rural health centers and warehouses. Military medical teams provided vital health and dental care to local communities, treating over 1,000 individuals. In a tabletop exercise, planners from the US, Philippines, and Japan even simulated a joint response to a super typhoon, sharpening their ability to deliver disaster relief in one of the most disaster-prone nations on Earth. This isn't just charity, it's a strategic investment, showing that the alliance is there to protect and build, not just to fight. This complex dance of hard and soft power is reshaping the security of the entire Indo-Pacific. If you want to understand more about the critical technologies driving this shift, you should watch our video on the rise of unmanned naval warfare. We'll link it here. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. So, what's the takeaway? An exercise of this size, with this many nations and this level of technology, doesn't happen in a vacuum. Every move is a calculated message aimed straight at Beijing.
China's defense ministry publicly condemned the drills, accusing the Philippines of colluding with outside powers to stage provocations. Chinese officials claimed the deployment of advanced US weapons could kick off an arms race.
But for the US and its allies, the goal is to prepare, not provoke. It's about showing credible deterrence. The sight of multinational forces training together is meant to signal a unified front, that aggression against one will be met by a coordinated response from many. By practicing everything from coastal defense and maritime strikes to cyber warfare, the Allies are sharpening their interoperability, their ability to fight as one. The deployment of the intricacies missile system to the Luzon Strait is especially telling. This waterway is a critical choke point for any navy trying to move from the South China Sea into the Western Pacific. Placing a mobile, hard-to-detect anti-ship missile system there shows a real capability to shut that passage down in a crisis, which has direct implications for a potential conflict over nearby Taiwan. It's a textbook example of the U.S. Marine Corps' new Force Design 2030 concept, moving away from large, concentrated forces towards smaller, nimbler units that can operate from inside an enemy's reach. Looking ahead, this exercise cements a new era for the U.S.-Philippines alliance. It's no longer just a legacy pact, but an active, modernizing partnership. The Philippines is busy upgrading its own military, and exercises like Balikatan let its forces train with cutting-edge tech. For the U.S., it reaffirms the Philippines' strategic importance in maintaining a free and open Indo-Pacific. And the growing involvement of countries like Japan and Australia signals a regional consensus on collective defense. These aren't just American drills on Philippine soil anymore. They're becoming the cornerstone of a regional security network. The message coming out of Balikatan 2025 is that the old dynamics in the South China Sea are changing. Unilateral attempts to change the status quo with force will be met with unified strength. In the end, Balikatan 2025 was more than just thousands of troops running drills. It was the physical embodiment of a revitalized alliance. It's where combat training met community outreach, where advanced missile systems were deployed alongside school supplies. This is a dual-pronged strategy of hard power and soft power, designed to build both military readiness and unbreakable trust. In the turbulent waters of the Indo-Pacific, the US and the Philippines are proving that standing shoulder to shoulder means being ready for anything together.